Hi my beautiful stars, I hope that you're doing so well today. If you're new here, welcome to my channel and welcome to a spooky story not Sunday. Thank you so much for clicking on today's Molli-Ween video. I'm so excited to have another installment in Molli-Ween this year. I know I've been slacking a little bit. I actually just am starting to get better from a cold I had that I got last week, and I was extremely just out of it. I'm on the mend now, so I was like, this is the perfect time to make a video. I still have a few more videos before Halloween that I'm going to be uploading. Just thank you so much for watching, and let's get into the spooky story. Last Spooky Story Sunday video, I talked about an experience that my uncle had, well, a couple experiences. I talked about how like I didn't have any more to share from like my experiences, and somehow I forgot about this one, which literally like started it all at my house. My dad like built this house with contractors. It's farmland, so I mean there could be farmer ghosts, but I do actually think that our hauntings are caused by objects we've brought into our house. That seems to be the most logical explanation because, you know, something about me is I've always believed in the paranormal, but alongside being a believer, I have a skeptic side. Like I definitely can be skeptical, and I try to think of a logical explanation, like why like that sound happened, or like the snort that my mom heard in this exact bedroom that I'm sitting in right now when she was sleeping. We didn't have an animal in the house. There was a snort right next to her. Talked about that. I'll pop that video up on the screen. Literally terrifying. I had to cleanse our house. I do not know why these things happened, but I do think that it started because of these objects that we brought into our house. So this is a story of our garage ghost called Charlie. I named him. People say you're not supposed to name your ghosts or your entities, but I did because I was in 6th grade and I was terrified, and it helped me cope with like what was happening. He wasn't like, I don't think he was really scary or anything, but to give you some background, my dad worked at a energy plant and he was a boiler engineer. The place was being torn down and it was very much historical. It had been there for over 100 years and they were tearing it down to rebuild. It was older. I mean, I remember having like Christmas parties in a part of the building, and like, you know, that elevator, a little creepy, a little spooky. So I understand why they wanted to rebuild. At the same time, I was like, why, you know? And so my dad was like, I'm a collector, so like I'm gonna take some of this stuff because they said it's a free-for-all. So he got this clock. We still have it. It's in our garage. All the cabinets in our garage came from his job. The clock was the main star of the show because that clock worked for over 100 years at the plant. Never did not work. They never had to replace anything. It always worked. The moment my dad brought it home, had it for about 2 days. I wasn't home, my mom wasn't home, my sisters weren't home. He was watching the Vikings game and he heard this really loud like buzzing sound coming from the garage. He was like, what the heck is that? So he goes out. The clock had stopped working. It died. So the first instance was after that clock stopped working, we started to notice some odd activity in the garage. So the first instance of odd activity that we started seeing was our Volkswagen Bug would start locking itself and honking by itself. The keys were literally hanging up. There was no way that that would just be going off. There was no faulty wiring. Like my dad checked it and it wasn't like it was just continuously going off. Like my mom parked in the garage, shut the door, and then right behind her she hears beep beep. She's like, I didn't lock the doors. She went out there and okay, and it goes beep beep, did it again. It did that only like the 2 times, and so we're like, maybe something could have been with faulty wiring. I mean, but the Bug, my sister ended up driving it for years after that, never did it again. So could have been its way of saying hello. The second instance is that we would hear banging and random things like shuffling around in the garage. My dad worked out there all the time working on cars and stuff. It would happen when he wasn't out there. And our living room lines up with the garage, so like you can hear stuff going on in there. And don't know what that was. And the third instance, and by far the freakiest and the star of the show, if you will, is we had our business phone out there, and it was a home phone, but had an answering machine, everything. That's what it like sat and charged on. Could walk around the house with it, you know. It didn't have like the actual like landline, but it was a home phone, and it was connected to our business phone number at the time. It's now been disconnected, but it was sitting on top of a cabinet right next to the clock. Literally, like, open up the garage door that's connecting our kitchen to our garage, open that up, and you could grab it and answer the phone if it was ringing. Just to give you like, and I'll probably film that area. The phone actually might be still sitting there, to be honest, so I'll film that area and show you what I'm talking about. One night at approximately 8:45 p.m., so 8:45, our garage phone rang. One long ring and 2 short ones. That's weird. So I go out there and it did this really long ring. So I answer it, and right before I answer it, I noticed it said unknown name, unknown caller. I was like, okay, so maybe it's just like a scam, whatever. I answer it, I say hello, just static on the other side. No breathing, nobody, like, you know how like you can tell if there's somebody on the other side. No one was there, just static. So then put it back on, and it did it again about 5 minutes later. One long ring, two short ones. Our phone had never done that before. It does, like, you know, the long ring, pause, long ring, pause. So we're like, the phone's just going bad. Well, no, it was fine, and it was right by the clock. It did that for months, and we think that we came up with a story that at 8:45 every night, this person, this ghost, the spirit that came attached with the clock, his wife or partner would call at 8:45 to wish him good night because they worked night shifts, and they would talk, and then that was it. So we just called it our phantom caller. Honestly, I don't even know when it stopped because it happened for so long. That was our freakiest one, and I remember telling my friends about it, and they were always like, oh my gosh, that is so creepy, like you have a ghost, all this stuff. And I just like love it though, because I was super scared to go out in our garage during that time. I just didn't like going out there by myself. Sometimes, you know, I obviously still go out in the garage. And is someone watching me right now? Charlie? That is the story of our garage ghost, Charlie. Let me know down below if you think it was the clock that brought the ghost, or the cabinets, or what you think that was. I always love hearing your guys' opinions on that stuff. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next Molli-Ween video. Until then, shine bright. Bye.